This kid is too smart. He is dubbed a prodigy in the world of chess. Look at how he is playing against 30 people at once. Not a single one of his opponents could win the match, even though they are all members of the chess committee in this country. How could he not be skilled? It turns out this child is a student of a Go master, Cho Hyun. Mr. Cho is the only Go player who managed to become a world champion from Korea, and he even defeated a master from China, where the game of Go originated. Cho's victory made headlines everywhere, and his return to his homeland was certainly celebrated with great enthusiasm. A few months after Mr. Cho's victory, the game of Go became very popular and a festival was held. Here, Mr. Cho was also present as a coach. In this festival, there was one child who caught attention, namely Lee Chang-ho. No one could defeat him here, which made Mr. Cho curious and want to play with him. The child was silent after being taught a lesson by the world champion of Go. He even couldn't accept being defeated by a world champion and wanted to request a rematch. He requested a rematch, and the champion gave a challenge. If this child could complete the pattern given, then Mr. Cho would come to meet him to play once more. Because he was so ambitious to win every Go game, this child spent all his time solving the puzzle given by Mr. Cho. His father even got angry because he never studied his school lessons. Mr. Cho indeed enjoyed finding talented children in the game of Go. However, this time when an official wanted to pay Cho a lot to train his child, Mr. Cho refused and said the child had no talent at all. It turns out Mr. Cho was very upset because the official said that the game of Go is a silly game. The game of Go is a matter of pride for Cho, and he doesn't care even if he has to miss the opportunity to earn a lot of money. Upon returning home, Mr. Cho was surprised to receive a letter from Lee Chang-ho stating that he had already solved the puzzle given by Mr. Cho. Of course, Mr. Cho will keep his promise and travel a long way to the talented child's house who wants to play with him. Lee said if he wins, he will ask Mr. Cho to be his teacher. They had been playing all day, and it turned out Mr. Cho lost. Whether he intentionally lost or this child is truly extraordinary is uncertain. To fulfill the agreement, before playing earlier, Mr. Cho finally agreed to make Lee Chang-ho his student. Mr. Cho's friends were surprised at how easily he accepted such a young student. Lee Chang-ho had to travel far, leaving his village, and he would stay at Mr. Cho's house during his training. Fortunately, all of Mr. Cho's family welcomed Lee very well. They even considered Lee like their own child. While Lee was walking alone, he saw a Go Chess community headquarters and said he wanted to challenge the best player here for practice. No one expected that a little kid could defeat all the best Go players here and even beat dozens of people at once. No wonder a world-class player wanted to take him as a student. While Lee was having fun, his teacher was participating in an important tournament, and of course, Mr. Cho could win easily. But instead of being proud that his student could defeat everyone, Mr. Cho was very angry with his student and scolded him thoroughly. Mr. Cho did not like his student behaving arrogantly like that. Mr. Cho even said that Lee's way of playing was not that good yet. Even Lee still does not understand the basic fundamentals of the game of Go. Mr. Cho's training is indeed very strict because he knows that if he is too lenient, Lee will become arrogant and feel superior. Mr. Cho has been training Lee for years until Lee is now a teenager and will participate in the Go championship qualifications by studying all his teacher's match results in the championship. But unfortunately, in his first tournament, Lee ended up losing. This is where Lee realized that his abilities were not that great, and he was quite devastated by this situation. Lee thought he was the best, but it turned out he was still weak. After his failure, Mr. Cho was very angry with Lee. It was clear that Lee did not apply everything that was taught and stubbornly stuck to his own style of play. This is the anger of a teacher when his student does not apply what has been taught. Lee still refused to follow Cho's directions in the game of Go, resulting in Lee suffering a defeat. Lee was truly stubborn and insisted that his way was the most correct until Mr. Cho no longer wanted to hear his ramblings. Even a world champion finds it difficult to find a student who can become his successor. Even when Mr. Cho was about to go compete, he found a letter from Lee saying that Lee would return to his hometown and stop playing Go. Seeing his only student about to give up, of course, Mr. Cho would not let it happen, and he asked Lee to continue practicing with him. This time, Mr. Cho will relent and let Lee find his own playing style as long as Lee can take responsibility and win the match. It turns out Mr. Cho's efforts all this time were not in vain. Cho taught Lee to stay focused at every step and never be afraid of any opponent. Lee and his teacher have both reached the semi-final stage, and during the match, Mr. Cho, instead of focusing on his own match, was speaking at his student. Mr. Cho's opponent felt annoyed as if being underestimated, but when Cho returned to the table, he won the match in no time. This man is very curious about the outcome of his students' match. Lee is currently facing a rather skilled senior, but it turns out Lee can win the match, and finally Mr. Cho realizes that he will compete against his student in the final. Lee was a bit nervous because his teacher is the best Go player in the world, and when Mr. Cho looked into Lee's room, it turned out Lee had noted down all of Mr. Cho's playing styles. It seems Lee has prepared himself well to face his own teacher. When the day of the match arrived, it was clear that Mr. Cho and Lee were not talking at all, and Mr. Cho truly considered his student an opponent. The match was about to begin, and Mr. Cho started the game very well. Lee was really under pressure. Everyone was very enthusiastic about the outcome of the match between the two greatest Go players at the moment. Lee briefly lost focus and is now on the brink of defeat. He almost wanted to give up, but Lee remembered his teacher's advice that when you panic, try to recall everything that makes you calm. Lee tried it and remembered all the ticking of the clock in his house. As a result, Lee became very calm and could foresee how the game would unfold. And now it is his teacher who is cornered and losing focus. In fact, Mr. Cho did not congratulate his student at all after receiving his first defeat. Mr. Cho's first defeat really upset him, especially since it was done by his own student. Even when they reviewed the match, Mr. Cho appeared emotional because he felt his student was acting smart. Mr. Cho and Lee have now gone through 27 finals together, and not a single final was won by Mr. Cho. Mr. Cho, who always won everything, seems unable to accept that his position has now been replaced by his student. Because he felt there was nothing more to teach, Mr. Cho instead told Lee not to consider him a teacher anymore and that Lee could move to his own house and no longer needed to stay at his house to train. Before parting, Lee looked very devastated and regretted having made his teacher become like this. However, that is also what his teacher taught him, that no matter who the opponent is, he must win. Even a Korean chess god can become frustrated after being continuously defeated by his own student. Mr. Cho was unaware all this time. Mr. Cho had never prepared himself for defeat, and he had to experience it from his own student. Mr. Cho even stopped attending competitions he was supposed to play in. His opponent was also not pleased with the situation. His wife could not hold back her disappointment seeing Mr. Cho become so weak and not attend the match. Now, Lee and Mr. Cho have become the subject of negative gossip in the Federation. Mr. Cho also seems to have lost control of himself to the point of getting drunk. Previously, Mr. Cho was never like this. Fortunately, he met a friend who is also his opponent in the world of Go chess. His rival deeply regrets that Mr. Cho has ended up like this. This man told Mr. Cho that skipping a match is the worst thing an athlete can do. Mr. Cho seems to start thinking that his weak attitude will only lead to his downfall, and he tries to reopen his old teacher's Go board to regain the fighting spirit he once had. During the tournament, Mr. Cho's opponent felt happy because he thought Mr. Cho would definitely not show up. But it turned out, Mr. Cho returned. After going through his worst period, a Korean chess legend decided to return to the game and no longer fear defeat. Mr. Cho also met again with his student who had defeated him multiple times until Mr. Cho temporarily retired. Cho told his student that he would reclaim all his titles. After a long journey, Mr. Cho finally made it back to the tournament final and met his student again. The legendary match between teacher and student is now presented again, and all the media eagerly await the result. Everyone certainly hopes the legend will return. However, so far the game is still dominated by Lee. But the analyst was shocked when Mr. Cho made a very unusual move until one of the analysts realized that Cho was performing a divine move that hadn't been seen for decades. Lee had never studied the move made by Cho until finally Lee gave up and Cho managed to make a perfect comeback. Without underestimating Lee, everyone is very pleased with Cho's victory, and now all Go tournaments have become a proving ground for who is the best between the teacher and student who have now become rivals.